Bizarre Brain Comics. Well, hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. And here we are continuing with the Batman series that I'm wanting to I'm doing. What we're going to be delving into is the first appearance of the original Batwoman. But here it is, reprinted in this volume. I think I've showed it before a long time ago. I mean, the book. This is book Batman from the 30s to the 70s. This great cover illustration. And of course, the Batman masthead. The illustration penciled by Carmine Infantino with inks by Murphy Anderson, making it look so spectacular. This is when Carmine Infantino's work really looked good. And then, of course, Murphy Anderson inks just makes it look even better. This book was published in 1971, so this book's about 54 years old, and covers various stories from the very beginning up to the point of the book's publication, and it is all in black and white. And as I said, we'll be talking about the Batwoman, the original appearance, or the appearance of the original Batwoman. It's from Detective Comics 233. Now, for those who are not familiar at all, see, the Batwoman was Kathy Kane. This is not to be confused with the later reintroduction of Batwoman, which is Kate Kane, a revamp of the original character. This is Kathy Kane, created by writer Edmund Hamilton, well-known science fiction author and longtime comic book writer, and artist Sheldon Moldoff, who did the art here, even though it says Bob Kane down in the corner. and she was a supporting character in the Batman stories of the early Silver Age. And she made her first appearance in Detective Comics number 233 in 1956. She was introduced to be a love interest for Batman to counter the homosexuality accusations begun by the book Seduction of the Innocent from 1954. But she and other secondary characters, including Batgirl, who was her counter to Robin, and like Batmite, who I hated, and Ace the Bat-Hound. Those secondary characters were eliminated when editor Julius Schwartz took over the Bat line in 1964, and that's when they brought in got away from this particular stylization of the art, gave it more realistic appearance, and had the new look. So let's have a look. There you see splash pages. Batwoman introducing herself to save Robin from the grip of this giant robot. Since it's black and white here, you can't see the colors. Her costume, I don't know why those colors don't go with the Bat theme, but her costume was dark red and dark yellow. So it's kind of echoing some of the colors in Robin's costume, as it were. And our story begins. Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne in Wayne Manor, seeing the Bat signal, rush to the Batcave off in the Batmobile, and it turns out there's a gang of crooks robbing the main terminal at the airport. That sounds like an odd But anyway, and you can see the shadow up here. Oh, is this the Batman? No, you can see it clear over here. Clear over here in a little tiny image. That's not him. And of course, keeping with commonalities of this era, giant stuff. So got the fake airplanes flying around the fake the globe here, etc. And she leaps down on one of the airplanes. She winds up using it to help knock guys out. And then she uses, as is this silly stuff, which they often did, is it these kind of secondary characters that were female, their gadgets were female or cosmetic related. This is stupid. You got a powder puff, poof, this cloud, sneezing stuff. And by the time Batman and Robin get there, Batwoman has already captured him. And then she's off on her bat cycle. Boom! And they're trying to catch her. Said, stop. They want to stop her and catch her. Stop her from pursuing this activity because it is very dangerous and they are concerned for her welfare. And says, Batman, I give you fair warning. If you ever should penetrate my secret, you'll be automatically revealing your own identity. And so that's something for them to think about. They follow her, and she goes into a narrow alleyway that they can't follow. And it's a movie premiere, and something's going on. Batman and Robin swing down, and then Batwoman swings down too, and catches crooks. It's a attempted kidnap. But she swings down, have all these bright lights, and she uses her compact mirror to deflect the light, blinding the guy, and then he's caught, and she's off again on her motorcycle. And they try to follow her again, but they can't. Then there's another scene of another crime. This car in an alleyway, and she with these crooks and gangsters, and she uses her perfume, which is tear gas, number 5. Oh, her perfume, which gasses the guys, and they are caught. And the papers are just raving about Batwoman, yada, yada, yada. But they're still saying, we've got to stop her because so far she's been lucky and stuff. Meanwhile, Batwoman drives off to her own Bat Cave, where here at the entrance is this giant portrait of her as Batwoman. This is when we learn that she is Kathy Kane. Kathy Kane was a skilled circus performer, acrobat, and trapeze artist, not unlike Dick Grayson, as well as a stunt motorcycle rider. And then she inherited a fortune, and so she because she's always admired Batman, and so she took this opportunity to establish herself and then train up and become a crime fighter in her own. So she's got her own Bat Cave, her own crime computer, all her own files, and her own gadgets, etc. Meanwhile, Bruce, but she bought had this mansion built, and it's just close by to Wayne Manor. And she's having a party to basically announce herself to the locals. And Bruce Wayne is invited, one of the guests. And here he is dancing with her, and the thing on the TV or radio talking about Batwoman, and they're talking about Batwoman in a little bit. And then there's the bat signal. And so it comes up with an excuse for him to skedaddle, and she does the same. And they hear on the police radio what the scoop is, and here they are, going parallel to one another. Zoom, zoom, zoom. And it's a gang causing trouble at a themed nightclub. It's a science fiction themed nightclub. They go in there, busting the place up. She's already in there, and some of the set pieces in this nightclub are being bumped around and hassled. She kind of saves Batman, and then moments later another thing tumbles, and Batman saves her. And but he is knocked unconscious. While he's unconscious, she catches the crooks, and but she respects Batman enough when she has opportunity to remove his cowl. She does not do so. Robin gets in. It's time to see the gangster caught, and off they go to their respective areas. Then there is about the same time, this was a distraction. There was an advertising blimp that, like airplanes have banners and stuff. Well, this is an advertising blimp. This is at night, of course. And it is off its track. They notice it's not going where it should be going. They follow it. And it descends toward on some place with gangsters. I didn't catch what it was. Toward a guarded yard. I think it's a jailbreak. And but Batman, Robin, and Batwoman all get there in time, and they'll do their stuff, catching all the crooks and stuff, and then off. And all in the course here, I forgot to mention that Batwoman has said a couple of things using some kind of jargon, and Batman looks up that jargon, and he notices those are he says, I need a little time to trace those scratch writer and trap artist clues to her identity, and says that's circus jargon, which Robin should have recognized. And he comes to the conclusion that Kathy Kane, when he finds out that Kathy Kane was a circus performer, and had with just the proper skills for what she's been doing, is indeed Batwoman. And he deduces that she must have a base of operations like they do. And when she returns back to her base, there are Batman and Robin waiting in her bat cave. And says, listen, Kathy, if I found you out, crooks could do so too. Eventually, once they learned your real identity, you'd be in mortal danger. I never thought of that. And said, I could track you down too, Batman and stuff. Then we find out that the big Batwoman portrait at the entrance of her cave, has surveillance cameras, etc. And she goes to and says, they have enough data there to trace my real identity. Says, I could, but I won't. And she destroys all that. And then Batman reveals that he had already figured that out, and he had already destroyed all that information stuff. So that was the introduction. It was supposed to be basically a one and done initially. And then, of course, they had more Batwoman stories. But I think that's is some fun and, tongue-in-cheek reading. They went too crazy with the Batman family stuff, and they've gone almost as far, except there wasn't not so silly plots as they had back then. But they've gone almost as far with Batman Incorporated and all the other assistants and Bat affiliated characters right now. But that is what I wanted to share with you this time. This is the first appearance of the original Batwoman from 1956. So have you read any of those stories? And what do you think of the original Batwoman? I liked the later Batwoman. What little bit I've read, I liked the first season of the Batwoman TV series. About halfway into the second season, I completely lost interest. And but I did enjoy the first season. And but that's all of that. Thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think of Batwoman, any incarnation of Batwoman. Let me know what you think. And remember, comics are art.